Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Prospect Corner here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined in by Dayton Reimer and Peter Baracchini. Peter, how's it going? We've got actually some really good recent stuff to talk about that's prospect-related, not just talking about underrated prospects. We got the World Junior Summer Showcase just wrapped up, and we got the Hlinka Gretzky Cup coming up next week as well. So some excitement. How's it going?
Yeah, it's obviously hockey in the summer is always a good thing to see. Sometimes it's one of those things where we don't sleep, but at the same time, we always get exciting stuff to watch. And it may not mean a whole lot, but the summer showcase is always fun. It's always a great precursor to the World Juniors. And just like the Hlinka Gretzky is a precursor to the draft season. So yeah, it's going to be, the past week has been great. And then the next few weeks with the Hlinka Gretzky is going to be even more entertaining.
For sure. Yeah, Dayton, how's it going? I know there's a couple WHLers that are going to be already on Team Canada's roster. Some guys are going to probably be drafted pretty high too. One at least for sure. How's it going?
It's good. Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with all the WHL guys who are in the summer showcase and Hlinka Gretzky that's so far announced. There's a few rosters I think that can still come out from what I've checked, but yeah, it's with the NHL doing absolutely nothing right now, it's fun to dial into something.
For sure, yeah, and Landon DuPont's not eligible for the 2026, 2027. I was kind of alluding to him, but I'm like, wait, he's not this draft. But he will be drafted pretty high in the 2027 draft, and he is going to be featured in the Hlinka Gretzky. So let's jump right into to this and talk about the World Junior Summer Showcase, which did just wrap up in Minnesota. And we had Mariah Stark covering that for the Hockey Writers. So if you haven't checked out any of our articles, then you should have been in the last week or so. And actually over the last week, she had recaps, she had takeaways, kept us really up to date with what was happening there. So take a look at those when you get a chance. And we're going to talk about some standouts from that little week-long tournament. Only featured 4 teams. Sweden, Finland, and the U.S. and Canada. The U.S. and Canada had 2 teams each at the beginning there because they want to see everyone. They want to see what so many players for both those countries that are eligible for this, for the World Juniors, want to see them all. So I'll start with you, Dayton. What did you find? Really, we couldn't watch it. There was a premium service, I think, that you could have got a hold of, but there was, of course, highlights and lots of coverage. So what did you think about standouts from that showcase?
Yeah, I did not get the premium. I could not figure out where to find it. So I was just checking in on the stats and checking in on the clips, and there was a few guys that jumped out. I can start with the Canadians. I thought Michael Hage looked really good. Just great, drive. Had some really good plays. There was one that's, I guess, a little bit trending on Twitter where he wins the puck gets out of a scrum and he is able to win the foot race, get around the American, and then just put it easily into the empty net for the, makes it 4-2. So solidifies the win for Canada. We knew that he was going to be pretty incredible when the Montreal Canadiens took him, but it's really nice to see that he's being given that chance on the world stage because I think this is his first chance to play with Team Canada in the under 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly he's probably one of Canada's top guys heading into that tournament. Another guy I'm quite excited about was Joshua Ravensburgen. I thought he was one of the best goaltenders for Canada. I think there was some moments where Canadians struggled a bit, just a bit. But he was fairly consistent in both the inter-squad games and in the regular play. I thought he looked pretty good. And then moving out of Canada, Ados Koivu, speaking of Montreal Canadiens prospects.
Yeah.
My goodness, that guy looks good.
Oh, yeah.
Third round pick, I think, of the Canadiens, Montreal. Something around. He was a later pick. And he, I think, led the tournament with 6 goals in 5 games. You're probably not going to be competing quite as hard as you would be in the actual tournament. So, maybe take some of these stats with a few grains of salt.
Mm.
But it's still like, from the reports that I was reading from Mariah and some of the other ones that were circling around, this was a very competitive tournament for a summer showcase. Like it was surprisingly tight. And to see someone really break out with a goal total like that, and like just some beautiful goals too. He could really work to get into open space and pick his spots. I love to see his vision and his movement. He's going to be something special for Finland, I think.
For sure. And of course, he's the son of Saku Koivu. And he was really impressive. I saw his name multiple times in Mariah's reports throughout the week. So definitely a standout. And Michael Hage has actually never competed for Canada in any international tournaments.
Never. Okay.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
So,
I thought he'd been a lower one.
He hasn't. So I mean, this is gonna be his first chance. So that's gonna be fun. I had great season in his freshman year at University of Michigan with 34 points, 33 games. So I think he could be a pretty big part of Canada, and good start for him at the showcase. Peter, what about you for standouts from this early look at these teams here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Baracchini was one that stood out for Canada. I mean, Michael Hage as well. He was absolutely dominant for Canada, being one of the more, again, considering that he's never represented Canada in like at this level, it really is impressive to see him get that opportunity, because every single year it's just like, oh, should we see him on U18? Should we see him in Hlinka Gretzky's? Never got that opportunity. So I think this is a perfect, coming out party for him to show that, hey, probably should have taken me previously before, as opposed to maybe not so much of, other players that not necessarily didn't deserve it, but Hage had always the higher upside. So seeing him perform at an international competition or a precursor to that was really impressive to see. Baracchini was really great. I really liked Colin Potter. I mean, we've raved about him so many times right now, how, it's probably a steal for Calgary in that late first. He had 5 points. Riker Lee really stood out, 5 points as well. But I'm just going to focus in on a couple Swedes from last year in this year's draft. Jack Berglund led the turn, or it was tied with Ados Koivu in points with 7, but had that little bit more playmaking element to his game as well. Really stood out up the middle, really like his energy, really like his two-way game. This is a guy that could be a factor on both sides of the puck. And, past episodes, you guys mentioned you wrote their draft profiles. I wrote Jack Berglund's profile, so call me a fan of his right away. But yeah, fantastic get for, I believe, the Philadelphia Flyers second round pick last year. Really great two-way game, really solid middle six type player that could go up and down the lineup as well. Really, really great to see him stand out, but also Wilson Bjork and going down the Vancouver's road, Matt. For a later round player to come in and have this big of an impact is really impressive. And I had him within my top 128. So this is kind of looking like a really good development path for Bjork, getting that World Junior opportunity to make a statement within his age group. Believe he's going to Colorado College next year. So he's going to get a little bit more competition right now. So this could be a little precursor to that North American style, getting onto the ice, playing in this environment, going to set him up for success in the college route or at the college level, but also at the same time put his name on the map for the World Juniors. And wouldn't it be great to see both Bjorks, Wilson, and Vigo on Sweden this year? That'll be a great, story for both of them to represent Sweden at the World Juniors. But I really thought those two really, really stood out in a big way for Sweden. And again, this is a summer tournament, not a whole lot of stuff to put into it, but you can get a lot from just a short amount of a little bit of a showcase like this. And I think those two guys did a fantastic job to do that.
Yeah, and of course, Vigo is eligible for the 2026 draft. Early rankings putting him in the top 10. So I mean that his brother's going to be drafted a lot higher than he was in the 5th round. But I mean, the Canucks looks like early looks at him. It looks like they've got maybe it's kind of early to say steal or whatever, but it's good to see him stand out and maybe make Team Sweden at the World Juniors. A guy that maybe wasn't on a lot of people's radars as a high-end guy, but yeah, the Canucks look like maybe gotten another good Swede in the later rounds. They seem to be able to hit on them. And yeah, I was really impressed. If you didn't mention him, I was going to. So yeah, good stuff there. It really showed his playmaking during the showcase. So yeah, I'm excited to see if he can make Team Sweden and how he does in this year's tournament. All right, let's move now to the tournament that's coming up, and that's the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, and that's starting on August 11th, which is a little over a week as we're recording here. And Team Canada has released its roster already, 25-man roster so far. It seems like they're one of the only teams that have an actual one on the website. But let's start. I'll start with you, Peter. Out of all, I mean, you can take all the teams into account that. I mean, not all of them have released rosters, but you can probably see what guys are probably going to be on him. So who are you looking at for players to watch in this upcoming tournament?
Yeah, I kind of wish all the teams had kind of released their roster. It would have been a little bit helpful to just focus in on maybe not so much just Team Canada, but they're the only ones to release it. But I would have no doubt that if guys like Viggo, Bjork, and Ivar Stenberg, if they were participating in the tournament, I'm not sure if they are. Doesn't seem like it because they're already at the junior showcase doing that. So maybe a little bit too much hockey for them. I don't know. I'm almost positive that US probably just released it today, but I'm not quite sure about that as well. But I mean, let's face it, this is going to be a phenomenal roster for Canada. I mean, you're just looking at it. They're really well balanced up and down the lineup. You got guys that are like, top six forwards, but chances are they're going to have to play maybe a bottom six role. But these are a lot of guys here that can get the job done. I mean, you just looking up and down the forward roster, you have a lot of guys that are up for the draft, like Tynan Lawrence, Mathis Presson, Ethan Belches, Alessandro Di Iorio, Beckham Edwards, Adam Valentini, Pearson Bowie, Colin Fitzgerald, and again, the list goes on, and then it extends over into the defense. Keaton Verhoff, Ryan Lynn, Daxon Rudolph, Leonard DuPont, not this year's draft, next year's as well. But man, this is a very honestly, I don't think I've seen a defense core as this talented and deep. I mean, Canada's had maybe one, two, maybe three. The talent extends into the third pairing for Team Canada with their defense, and that is really impressive to see. And I know I'm probably supposed to pick one or two players, but this is just an impressive roster. I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of Tynan Lawrence. I love the competitive style that he brings. He already has some, championship pedigree to his name, winning the Clark Cup in the USHL. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Keaton Verhoff. Projected number 2 overall pick right now behind Gavin McKenna early on, but I think this guy's going to be a stud at this tournament in college. And he was just absolutely dynamic last season in the WHL. Again, I know we talked about him before, but I'm really excited to see Daxon Rudolph. I know, Dayton, you're a big fan of his and his overall play, the smarts, the decision-making. I'm just I'm not curious to see how well he does here because we already know how well he's going to do. But I want to see him elevate that game to the next level because he is a projected top 10 pick. And this is a guy that could probably be the next defender behind Keaton Verhoff. And in my early top 32, I believe Rudolph is that second defender behind him with, the likes of Xavier Villeneuve, Ryan Lynn, right behind them as well. But I think Daxon Rudolph is going to impress a lot of people. And just like Verhoff putting his name on the map, I think he's going to do the same thing and be a name to watch in that 5 to 8, 9 range.
Yeah, lots of talent Team Canada has. And I mean, of course, it's easy to focus on that team because they're the one that has confirmed players. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of talent to watch, and they're going to have a good chance of probably winning gold again. They usually do really well at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Lots of success there. So, Dayton, if Peter didn't take everyone that you want to talk about, anyone you want to focus a little more on that you'll be watching. I mean, probably going to be from Team Canada. Of course, being Canadians ourselves here, the team we'll be watching. Who are you looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Canadians that you want to pay attention to at this tournament. Like Peter was saying, the defense is unbelievably deep. And you didn't even touch on Landon DuPont that much. Who, won the WHL Rookie of the Year. Is projected to go first overall in 2027. And if you've ever had a chance to watch him, I caught him once last year when Everett came to town. He does not play like a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old. He plays like he is 19 or 20. He has confidence. He has poise on the ice. He looks big and strong, moves the puck really well. Just an incredible, well-rounded defenseman already. There's no surprise that he was an exceptional status, just an incredible player. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they put the 16-year-old on the top pairing. He is incredible. It was a treat, honestly. I wrote an article after it. It's like, I can't not talk about this kid. Few other guys. Let's see here. I will mention one other Canadian that you skipped over. That is Cooper Williams from the Saskatoon Blades. He is just like a spark plug. He's really fast. He's really driven. Worked really well on, I guess, what they were calling the kid line in Saskatoon here last year, where you also had David Lewandowski and sometimes a rotating cast, but one of the ones I remember most is Willie James, who's now going to be on the Penticton Vs. They just worked really well together, and Williams was often kind of like a catalyst. He was able to make things happen, and in the standouts for the pre-tournament action or the training camp or whatever they call it, Cooper Williams was one of the guys who was the most noticeable. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up surprising some people at the tournament. Going outside of Canada, though, there's a few others to, I think, pay attention to. The Americans have their list up.
So they do. I thought so, yeah.
Noah Ta'amu with the Edmonton Oil Kings. He's been pretty good with them so far. I didn't notice him too much last year when they came to town. And he only put up a goal and 6 points last year, but he's been working his way into like the conversation of top 60, maybe top 30 picks here. He is the son of a former NFL player, which, maybe you could make the comparison to a Darnell Nurse a little bit. He's got that size, that physicality. He could be something pretty special for the Americans there. Who else jumped out? I have several tabs and I just got to search through. That's my beige flag, I guess you could call it, is I have 17 tabs open all the time. It is what it is. One other guy, Noah Davidson. He's going to the Medicine Hat Tigers next year. He's a 6'2", 16-year-old who put up 40 goals with Shattuck St. Mary's last season. He could be something pretty special with the Tigers, who will be looking for somebody to drive their offense after Gavin McKenna left. And like everybody else, they lost a lot of guys. And so they're going to need some people to step forward. Someone else who's probably going to step forward, jumping back to the Canadians, Liam Ruck. He put up 25 goals as a rookie last season. His twin brother Marcus is also on the team. There's another guy to watch, and they're both on the Canadians. And then last guy I will point out is Jonah Neuenschwander for Switzerland. I checked over the Czech and the Slovak rosters. Didn't notice too many names that I was familiar with, so there could be some big surprises there. Jonah Neuenschwander played on the under-20 team last season at the World Juniors for Switzerland. He got in 3 games, didn't score any points, but he's already playing pro in Switzerland. He played 15 games last season with them. He's 16. He's also eligible for 2027. He's also 6'3". This could be a kid that we are talking about, maybe not with Landon DuPont, but like in the next sentence. There's something really special there. His brother just went in the draft, I believe, Elijah Neuenschwander. Went to the Ducks 4th round. He's a 6'4" goalie. So Jonah's probably still growing and might hit 6'4", maybe even 6'5". he could be something pretty special at the tournament as well. And for a team like Switzerland, who doesn't usually have a ton of guys, they could rely on him pretty heavily, and it looks like he could handle it.
And lots of talent coming up. Peter, do you want to add anyone from Team USA that if you looked over their list there?
Yeah. So it was confirmed that they did send it out today, and I saw some names that it wasn't fully sure, but yeah. I want to add Brody Gillespie in there. Obviously the point production with the Spokane Chiefs wasn't there, but I think the potential is there for him to have a big tournament because of the game that he brings. He's a very, very complete, well-rounded player. He's got the skill set. He's got the drive on both sides of the puck. Got the size. Not necessarily play with an edge, but he uses that size to his advantage to win those battles. And I think this is going to be a very, very important player for Team USA, as well as Jack Hextall as well. Really strong playmaker, had a decent rookie campaign with the Youngstown Phantoms last year, 34 points in 53 games. I just feel like that, again, both players are 6 feet, so they got some size. They got that edge in terms of playing that puck possession style. Hextall's got the smarts, Gillespie as well. The wherewithal to find the open lanes of the ice. I think both players are going to be very, very key for Team USA.
Yeah, I mean, of course, U.S. and Canada are always the top team, two of the top teams at the Hlinka Gretzky, and of course, the other big powers, Sweden and Finland, are in there as well. But like you said, Dayton, I mean, Slovakia could have some team. I mean, Slovakia, Czechia, they're both teams that seem to maybe come out of nowhere at times. So we'll see how they do. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting tournament to watch. Lots of great, like you said, Peter, this is the precursor to kind of the start of draft season, really. When you're looking at the 2026 draft, there's quite a few there. And then we've got some 2027 guys to see some early stuff from DuPont's probably going to be one of the top guys for Team Canada. And I know, Peter, you're writing an article on him. So check out that when it comes out. Lots of fun still coming this summer, even though the NHL has nothing but crickets happening right now. But yeah, lots of prospect stuff to talk about. So that's fun.
Just want to clarify one thing. Yeah. If I mispronounce Brody Gillespie's, I think I may have said Brady, but it is Brody, not Brady. Just little bit of a hiccup there on my end.
All right. I thought you said Brody, so you might have.
That's why I don't know. Kind of too many words were going in my head at that moment, so I thought maybe I said it wrong. But just in case for the viewers, it is Brody.
All right, sounds good. All right, before we end the episode, I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on another WHL player that's committed to NCAA, and that is Roger McQueen. He is committed now to Providence College, starting this season. Of course, played for the Brandon Wheat Kings his whole WHL career. Was drafted pretty high in this past draft. Was drafted by the Anaheim Ducks, 10th overall. Dayton, what do you think about this latest star moving from the WHL to the NCAA?
Are you starting with me? Because I
will start with you.
Gavin, which is fair. I think my stance is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Honestly, with Roger, I think it might be best for him, if that makes sense. Of course, the Wheat Kings are going to lose a pretty top guy for next year, which that sucks for Brandon. Like, he was going to be their top guy. The problem is he missed almost all of last season with a pretty significant injury. So only managed in 17 games, most of which came at the beginning of the season. I think he only squeezed into a few. 3 playoff games. It was a very similar situation to Caden Lindstrom, who missed almost all of last season and now is starting to look a little bit more confident in the summer showcase and will be going into, I think, Michigan State. I think Michigan State. Please correct me if it's Michigan. I have screwed that up before. It's the joys of living with a little bit of dyslexia.
Yeah, it's Michigan State. Yeah.
Michigan State.
Okay. Fantastic. With McQueen, he, I think, would be at risk at re-injuring himself if he played a full WHL season of 68 games. And if he goes to the NCAA, he's playing maybe half that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be more of a focus on development. It's going to be more focus on fitness. And then, the games are tough. There's no question about it. I think it's going to be better for him overall. So I don't hate the move. I think if someone is considering what's best for themselves, it's probably going to be a good move for McQueen.
Mm-hmm. Peter, what about you for this latest player going to the NCAA?
Yeah, I mean, basically what Dayton said, it's going to be just a repetition on my end. Like, it is going to be a big loss for the Wheat Kings, but at the same time, I feel like there's more of a challenge for him and even for Caden Lindstrom in the NCAA because they have that size advantage, because they can use that to their advantage, winning battles in a more competitive league. It's not to say that the WHL isn't, but this is where you're playing against more stiffer competition in terms of the age group. Obviously, they're still going to be younger. They're going to be the freshmen, but there are going to be, 21, 22, 23-year-olds that are very seasoned and know the ins and outs of that league. So to learn from, the coaching staff and everything like that, to get those opportunities and to be key contributors on their team, I think is going to be important, because I can't see them being further down the lineup. They're going to be top line players for their respective teams. And I think they're going to, it is going to be a challenge, but I think both of those guys are up to it because of the skill set and the potential that they could reach.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think McQueen spent that's a good point with his injury, that, playing a full WHL season, he probably wouldn't play a full one. I mean, you'd hope that he stays healthy and that injury is behind him, but it was still a significant injury that he had to deal with. And, it's probably good that he's not playing a lot of games this coming season. So we'll see how he does. And lots of NCAA players, lots of talent that's left the WHL and, the CHL in general, that's moving to the NCAA. And we'll see how it all goes for all these players. You'd hope that they all are successful because, of course, as players, as people, you want that for them. And the NCAA, it's got a lot more talent to watch. Not saying they didn't have talent before, but there's a ton more injected this season, and we'll see how they all play. All right. Well, thanks, Dayton. Thanks, Peter, for coming on again for Prospect Corner here as we continue through the off season. But the Hlinka Gretzky is coming up. We will have coverage on that as it goes on, and seeing how each team does and as the tournament goes on. And then, of course, as the season starts, we'll keep our normal stuff. We'll have our top 100 prospects coming out, that update, and we'll talk about that. Of course, that's the really unofficial start of our season, our next season here. But it's going to be lots of fun coming up in the next season as we get through August and into preseason finally. But hopefully there's a little bit more action away from prospects so we can talk about it more. But until our next episode, we'll see you next time.